So welcome to the section 2 of our week 4 module 4 in our project management professional training program. Now in this section we're going to be discussing the project charter. In the previous section where we talked about performing project integration management, we mentioned the project charter as one of the key components of that process. All right, so in this section we're actually going to be talking about the project charter in greater detail. Okay, so here we're going to be talking about developing the project charter. How do we develop project charter? Now, like I said earlier, the project charter is the foundation of your project. All right, this is a document that actually sets the stage for the successful execution of your project. So as a project manager, you have to ensure that you have your project charter in place. So what is the project charter, you may want to ask? And the project charter is a formal, concise document that officially authorizes the existence of the project. Without the project charter, you don't have a project yet, and you don't even have the authority to begin executing the project. All right, it provides the project manager with the authority to allocate resources and begin project activities. So if you're working within a performing organization or a project management organization, the project charter is what actually assigns you or allocates authority to you to be able to use the organization's resources and start applying them to the project activities. So the project charter is a very important document that you need to have and know how to use. As a project manager, you need to be able to understand the various aspects of the project charter, all right, and how to use them to execute your project. Now, what are the key components of the project charter? So we're going to look at them one after the other. First one is project purpose or justification. All right, so the project charter helps to clearly state the reason for the project existence. So why are we embarking on this project? Why? All right, so the project charter helps to answer the why question. Secondly, it explains how the project aligns with organizational goals. All right, now every project is definitely aimed at helping to achieve the goal of the organization. So when executing the project, it cannot be far removed from the organizational goals. So the project charter helps to define what the goals of the organization are, and then also makes us understand how the project aligns with those goals of the organization. Another component of the project charter is the objective, the project objectives or the deliverables. What is this project going to produce? Now we know the purpose, all right, the why, but what is the what of the project? So that's what this is all about. So the project charter helps us to define what the project aims to achieve. It also helps to specify the expected outcomes or deliverables. What are the outcomes of the project? Is it a building where people can work, or is it a building where people can stay? Is it a device that helps people to do XYZ? What exactly is the outcome or the deliverable? Is it a service, all right, that can help people to do XYZ? So what exactly are the objectives or the deliverables? That's part of the question that the project charter helps to answer. in the project charter, we also talk about the project scope. So the project charter gives us the project scope. All right, it helps to outline the boundaries of the project. Now, what does it include? What does it not include? All right, the project charter helps us to define what is included and what is excluded from the project. Now, this is very, very important, all right, because it helps us to be able to manage our resources much better. We do not start allocating resources to things that are not important or that are not relevant to the project we have at hand. So that's why defining the boundaries of the project is very important, and that's what project scope is all about, and you can find that in the project charter. Another component of the project charter is stakeholder identification. Who is involved in this project? Now, this is the list of the primary stakeholders and their interests. All right, so who are the people involved in the project? What are their interests in the project? What influence do they have over the project? What impact do they have on the outcome of the project? These are the questions that the project charter also helps us to answer, all right, when we identify stakeholders. So it identifies who has authorized the project, who has authority over the project, who has influence, interest on the project. So this is also very, very important, because identifying the stakeholders of the project will also help you to be able to manage their expectations. It will able to help you to be able to communicate with them effectively throughout the life cycle of the project. Okay, and that will go a long way in helping to be able to manage how they influence and impact the outcome of the project. Without this, there could be chaos, all right, and then it could actually impact negatively on your project. So stakeholder identification is very, very important as for you as a project manager, especially at the outset of the project. Now, another important component of the project charter is high-level risks and assumptions. Now, we all know that in every project, in every business, you have risks, all right? Not knowing what your risks are is very, very dangerous, all right? Because whether you like it or not, these things are going to impact on your project. So at the outset, it's important to know what risks that you're going to encounter, all right, and what are the assumptions that you have, all right? Having this knowledge will help you to be able to manage them when you encounter them. Now, the project charter helps us in highlighting potential risks that could impact the project. So you could find a list of all the risks, all right, or the potential risks that you will encounter which are likely to impact on the project, all right. And then also any assumptions made during the project. Now, assumptions are guessings, all right, guesswork, things that you assume while you are maybe planning during your project management plan. Okay, you're assuming that the price of this particular commodity is going to stay at this particular point, or you are assuming that the price is going to increase at this particular rate. Okay, so those are all assumptions. Or maybe there is a policy and you are assuming that the policy is likely going to change, all right, and this is going to be the outcome or the impact on the project. So you're making those assumptions ahead of time so as to help you be able to adapt as the project goes along. So let's look at the importance of the project charter. Number one, alignment. It helps to align the project with the organization's strategic objectives. Now, this is very important. Like I mentioned before, the organization has strategic objectives. So the project charter will help us to align the project with those objectives. Secondly, authority. The project charter grants the project manager the necessary authority to move forward. Communication. It serves as a communication tool for stakeholders. Then lastly, baseline. Project charter provides a baseline for project planning and decision making. So what are the key takeaways from this section? Now, developing a clear and well-defined project charter is the first step in ensuring project success. In our next section, we'll explore the next critical components in developing a project charter, which are inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs. Alright, so I believe you've understood what the project charter is all about, what are the key components of the project charter, and the importance of the project charter to the success of your project. Okay, so I believe you've got value. I'll see you in the next section.